everyone, I'm Lilah McDonald, your host for NZ Business Magazine's podcast, Sustainably Ever After. Proudly brought to you by the Milford Foundation, a charity investing in local communities to build a stronger Aotearoa New Zealand. I'll be exploring the incredible world of sustainability and entrepreneurship. On this podcast, I'll be talking to guests who are making waves in the world of sustainability, those who have built businesses with a purpose, those striving to make their companies greener, and those leading the charge for social and environmental change.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a special bonus episode of Sustainably Ever After, the podcast brought to you by NZ Business Magazine and proudly supported by the Milford Foundation. I'm David Nothling-Demmer, the editor of NZ Business Magazine, stepping in as host this week, and today we're turning the mic around. Our guest is none other than the voice behind the show, Lilah McDonald. Over the past 2 seasons, Lilah has guided us through thought-provoking conversations with some of Aotearoa's most inspiring changemakers in sustainability, business, and impact.
The Milford Foundation, supporting education, youth and the environment to build a better tomorrow for all New Zealanders. Find out more at milfordfoundation.co.nz.
In this episode, we're diving into Lilah McDonald's journey as the host of Sustainably Ever After, what she's learned, who's inspired her, and what it's really like behind the scenes of the podcast. I'll also be asking Lilah about her path as a social entrepreneur and the story behind Aotearoa, the social enterprise she founded that's creating real, tangible impact in New Zealand communities.
It's been an incredible journey for me so far. I didn't know at all what I was doing, obviously, when I was 10, but I've been very lucky to have my mum who helps me so much with everything. I've learned a lot about business in general and about, I've learned a lot about myself as well, and I've realised that, there's something I really want to make a difference in.
Lilah, welcome to your own show. So how does it feel to be on the other side of the table this time?
It feels very weird, a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm excited though.
Cool. So I suppose for listeners who are tuning in for the first time, haven't listened to Sustainably Ever After, now we're into our second season. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how you come to be host of Sustainably Ever After.
Yeah, so my name is Lilah McDonald. I've always been very passionate about the environment and animals in particular. I love animals, and I've always wanted to be able to protect them from the damage that is being caused at the moment through climate change. I always wanted to find a way to do that. And when I was about 9, I travelled overseas with my family, and in a small town in Europe, I saw this giant bank of drinking fountains, and I saw a lady filling up a huge plastic water bottle that you use to store water at the drinking fountain. And I thought that was a really cool idea and a really cool way, to reuse that plastic bottle that would otherwise be single use. So I thought about, why haven't I seen anything like that happening in New Zealand? So when I got back to Auckland, I did some research and found out that New Zealand is actually very behind on the amount of drinking fountains that we have, and that they are very important for keeping plastic bottles out of the ocean and for keeping our communities healthy. So I decided I wanted to do something to change that, and I started my mission at that point called the Public Water Project, which is to get more drinking fountains installed around New Zealand. During lockdown, our original strategy actually was to go to businesses and pitch this idea and ask them for sponsorship of a fountain. But then COVID hit and they didn't exactly have extra money to spend. So during lockdown, I realized we needed to come up with another idea. So my mum and I thought it would be smart to start a business to create income to fund more drinking fountains. And we landed on toilet paper because at the time it was very evident how important it was and that everybody needed it. So we knew that we would sell some because, everybody needs toilet paper. So when I was 10, I launched Aotearoa, which is my environmentally friendly toilet paper company. And I continue to be very passionate about the environment And when this opportunity to host Sustainably Ever After arose, I thought it was totally on brand for me, and I was very excited about it. It's been such an incredible journey so far. And yeah.
Cool. And talk to me about your business journey. Obviously, well, you probably weren't a teenager then when you started your business. What's it been like growing and building a business? Obviously, a socially minded business, but what's that process been like?
It's been an incredible journey for me so far. I didn't know at all what I was doing, obviously, when I was 10, but I've been very lucky to have my mum who helps me so much with everything. I've learned a lot about business in general and about, I guess, I've learned a lot about myself as well, and I've realized that, this is something I really want to make a difference in. I originally launched Water Us on Pledge Me, and very quickly a community kind of developed who was really supportive of me, which I'm so grateful for. And I guess in terms of that side, the social side of business, I found to be incredibly supportive, comes with an incredibly supportive community who wants to make a positive difference. And I'm happy that I can kind of help them do that.
Cool. And speaking of community, which is really exciting, you've had your first 2 water fountains installed in Auckland on the North Shore. How did that make you feel, kind of thing, realizing the end goal kind of thing, raising this money and getting that process of getting these fountains installed? How did that make you feel?
Oh, it was just amazing. I've been working to get the first fountain installed for about 3 years now, because it's been a process, because I think it's a little bit out of the ordinary. I don't think the council have ever done anything like this before a little bit, so it's been a little bit of trial and error, so it's taken a while. But when I saw the first 2 being installed, it was just the best feeling to see the product of my work and my hard work that's gone into this. And I think, it was just that feeling of actually seeing it. It's been so incredible. And I know I have a long way to go. My first goal is to reach 100 drinking fountains installed. And definitely a long way to go until I hit that. But just seeing that I've kind of, I guess, made a start and made like a tiny difference. Like those drinking fountains weren't there before, and now they are, which means hopefully they'll prevent some plastic bottles from going into the ocean. And just having that feeling that like I managed to help accomplish that is just such an incredible feeling.
And so you've relaunched Water Us after a bit of a break. Obviously, you've got a lot going on, school, a whole lot of other things. What is the plan going forward? Is it more of the same in terms of asking people to purchase toilet paper? Are you looking to expand in terms of, I know you said originally you wanted to chat to businesses. It's no longer lockdown and COVID's kind of moved on. Companies might be more engaged in terms of wanting to donate to a cause. Obviously, they've seen the first 2 fountains go in. Is that something that you're considering going forward?
Yeah, I think definitely it would be something that we would consider going back to businesses. I mean, the option's always open. If anyone listening would like to sponsor a fountain, that's no problem, of course. The goal for me going forward is just continuing to get as many drinking fountains installed as possible. So whatever way that's going to be, I think we're definitely going to continue to focus on toilet paper. It's something that I really just would like to grow as much as possible. And, running this business, my mum and I go to school full-time. Obviously, she has a full-time job. So we're trying our best to do it around those. But I think at the moment, that's what I would like to work on the most.
Cool. And what's it been like talking to other businesses who are sustainably focused on the podcast?
It's been so amazing. I've just, honestly, as a business owner myself, I've just found it so inspiring. And I think anybody, even if you're not an entrepreneur, it would be really helpful for. But I've just learned so many incredible lessons and been so inspired by what these people are doing. I think it's really amazing to see how much people are doing out there already. I think we hear a lot of bad things about the situation in particular, and I found it incredibly inspiring to hear so many amazing stories. And I've just been like almost feeding off them. You know, every time I do an interview, I listen to one back. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, it inspires me a lot on my own journey.
Cool. And what's the process been like hosting a podcast? This is your first one, correct?
Yeah.
So what's that been like? I mean, coming into interviewing business people who you might look up to in terms of what they're doing in business, what's that been like for you?
It's been amazing. It's been a lot of figuring out as I go along because, like you said, it's my first one. And so I've learned a lot about it. I feel so incredibly honoured to be able to sit here with people doing such incredible things and, like you said, people that I look up to and be able to learn these lessons firsthand from them. Yeah.
And have you got any learnings or have you changed your perspective around sustainably focused business or sustainability in general from chatting to some of these people?
Yeah, I think it definitely has changed my perspectives. Speaking to them, I think one of the things that I've realised is how easy it is to incorporate sustainability into everyday practices. I think a lot of people don't realise. And also how many little things you can do to improve your business, because obviously Waterhouse is focused on sustainability, but then also operationally, there's so many things that you can tweak so easily that I've learned, which has been really enlightening for me.
And you've interviewed a range of changemakers through the 2 seasons that you've recorded. Is there a particular guest or episode that stands out to you, like that person's done an incredible job, this is something that I'd like to emulate?
Oh, there's been so many incredible guests. I think if I had to talk about one that has really stuck with me is Brianne West. She and I have very similar missions, trying to get plastic bottles out of our environment. And she really actually changed my perspective, because I remember in the interview she said when she was starting Aotearoa, she would say she wants to have a shampoo bar in every bathroom, but it doesn't have to be an Aotearoa shampoo bar. And how she looks at other people doing similar things, not as competitors, because we're all trying to work together to make a better world, which I found so interesting and inspiring, because it really makes you think about that as a concept, and it's so true once you think about it. And the other thing that she talked about a lot is just why are businesses doing things like this? Why aren't they done sustainably, or, you know, why was it ever set up like that, and why aren't businesses changing now? Which I think is like also another interesting point. Like, if it's so easy to do better, why was it ever set up like that? You know, it's interesting.
Yeah. So would you say that you've taken some learnings from these people and you hope to apply them to your own business?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've done such incredible things, and I'm just learning along the way with everything. I found so many incredible pieces of knowledge that I really hope to, you know, use in Waterhouse as well.
So NZ Business Magazine is about offering advice and insights to business owners about how they can improve their businesses and do things better. Are there any like threads or strands of opportunities that you've identified from chatting to various people through the podcast that you say, okay, cool, this is something that businesses really should focus on?
I think in terms of improving businesses sustainably, one of the things that I've heard in a lot of interviews is just to try, just go for it. I think a lot of people find the issue very overwhelming, and I completely understand that. But I think the most important thing that I've heard is just no matter how small your first change is, just make it. Just start making the change, because any change is better than nothing, and you'll figure it out as you go along. And
for young people listening to this who are wanting to make a change, what advice do you have for them? Whether it be in sustainability or in life or in anything, if you've taken a leap wanting to do a podcast recording, for instance, what advice do you have for people wanting to make a change?
I think it would be very similar to, like I said before, just starting. Think about the change you want to make and what you're passionate about. And I think a lot of people sort of like have ideas or things they want to do, but they're too afraid to. And I think a really important thing is just to go for it, step out of your comfort zone. I was not expecting to ever have a podcast, I would say. And I was extremely nervous at the beginning of it. I still get nervous during the interviews, but I went for it. It's been such an amazing opportunity. I think you're never going to realize how much you're going to get out of it until you do. I think it's really important just to go for it.
And do you think, obviously this is quite a general question, but do you think that businesses in New Zealand and maybe government is doing enough to drive sustainability within organizations to help reduce plastic waste, for instance? Do you think there's enough being done across the board?
I think it's definitely a mix at the moment. Some businesses don't care about it at all, and some, obviously, like we've seen on this podcast, are doing incredible things. I think where we need to be is just having it more balanced, to have every business thinking about something that they can do for it. And I think it's becoming more and more recognized, but I think that also consumers have to start putting pressure on businesses to do better, because it's not necessarily consumers' responsibility, but we do have a lot of power in that sense where we're making those companies successful. And if they're not doing good enough, I think we have to stand up for that.
And why should, so for businesses who aren't focused on sustainability, why should they care about sustainability?
Well, I think in the most basic sense, if you don't do something towards sustainability, there's not going to be a world to operate in, or at least not how we know it. And if you look at the projections, it's horrible. We really need to start doing something. But it also, in terms of a personal sense, I think it's also very important to do something almost meaningful to make a difference in your company or your life even. I think for both those reasons it's very important, and, for future generations, like I talk about on the podcast, it's important to make a better world for them because they're not in control of it. The business owners of today are in control of it at the moment, and that's why it's so important, not just for yourself and the world today, but thinking selflessly as well about other people.
And looking ahead to 20, 30 years from now, where would you like us, well, New Zealand as a country and the business community to be on that sustainability path?
I think I would just love to see more consideration about it. On one end, I see a lot of incredible things being done on that aspect. And on the other end, I see a lot of people who either don't care or don't understand. I think there really needs to be a better education system around these issues in place. And maybe that just has to be in terms of individuals taking it into their own hands to educate themselves. But either way, I think it's really important to understand the implications of your actions. Like, we're not all just operating in our little bubble, and we're not all just operating in terms of New Zealand. Like, there's a whole world that our actions are affecting, and I would really love, I guess, in 20 years, just bare minimum, everybody to be aware of that and considering that every time they make a decision, it's going to be affecting someone else as well.
And personally, you're a young entrepreneur, still at school, got a couple of years to go. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 or so years?
I hope I'm still able to just be doing what I'm passionate about, which is making a positive difference in whatever form that may be in. I feel extremely lucky to be able to. At the moment, I have enough support to be able to make a difference for our world, or at least try to. And I would really love to continue that and, help make a better world.
Cool. And for people or businesses who want to get in touch with you and get involved with the work that you're doing, how can they do that?
Well, you can email me at hello@waterus.nz. Go on to find social media on Waterus or Public Water Project. Go onto our website, waterus.nz. Yeah. You're welcome to contact me, anyone listening. I'd love your support and your feedback. So, thank you so much to everyone.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being on the other side of the mic and sharing a bit more about your story. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. A special thanks to sponsors of this podcast, the Milford Foundation. working to create a sustainable New Zealand for future generations. Learn more at milfordfoundation.co.nz. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and stay tuned to nzbusiness.co.nz for more details on upcoming episodes and bonus podcast material. Let's make our world more sustainable, one story at a time. See you soon!